Close in less than an hour in the UK election, and there's reports of a record voter turnout. Let's go live to Laura Jays, who's in London for us this morning. Laura, the leaders cast their votes early.
Yeah, they certainly did, and many millions of people seem to as well. 46 million eligible voters. We're hearing that the turnout has been a record breaker. To give you an idea, the last election in 2017 in June, it was a 70% voter turnout, so it will be higher than that. That is what we're hearing at the moment. I want to bring in now former High Commissioner Mike Rann. Mike Rann, good to see you.
Good to see you again, Laura.
What are you hearing from both parties at this point?
I think the Tories are quietly confident that they're going to get a majority of about 30 seats. They have been desperately spinning the last few days that, it's right down to the wire, but that's in order that people don't think they're going to romp in so they won't wander off. And they've been assisted by the sort of the Tory press. Labor is very worried about what's happening in the Midlands and the North East, which are traditional Labor areas who voted Brexit. But the combination of an unpopular leader in Jeremy Corbyn and Brexit, I think, is really causing problems in Labour's heartland in the north. So this is, look, I've been involved in elections for more than 40 years. In fact, from the early 70s. This is the weirdest one I can remember, because essentially it's an unpopularity contest. Like, people can't stand Boris Johnson. They think he's a charlatan. They don't trust him. They don't believe what he says. It all seems like a game. But they like Corbyn even less. And so you've got this kind of race to the bottom. So it was the best possibility for the Centre Party, the Liberal Democrats, to do well, but they have totally blown their campaign.
What's happened with the Lib Dems? Have they overreached? Have they made it all about the leader? What's happened?
I think their leader is a huge problem. This is Jo Swinson. I mean, what they should have done, because people see the Tories going more right-wing, Labor going more left-wing, they could have owned the sensible common ground in the middle. But by being a place where people could register a protest, but at the same time guarantee that the Tories would have to be in coalition with them to soften them, or Labor be in coalition to soften them. Instead, she's been on TV, their leader, saying, when I'm Prime Minister in 3 weeks' time, 2 weeks' time, when I have hundreds of Lib Dem MPs, and every night she was on the TV, her vote was going down. In fact, total collapse of what could have been quite a different outcome to what we're likely to see in a few hours' time.
She misread the situation. People don't want her to be the Prime Minister. They wanted her to hold whoever the Prime Minister was to account.
Yeah.
Now, we're hearing record turnout. That would be more than 70% if it's true on the last election. That's what the turnout was, 69.3, I think. What does that mean? Does that favour Labor, though?
Usually does, but you have to think of it. I mean, I've just been talking to a friend in Scotland and said, well, people voted really early because it's freezing cold and it's now dark. You don't usually have elections this time of the year. So it's hard to know on that, and a lot of people pre-polled early, and there's all sorts of rumours that didn't go well for Labor. So I think that the battleground is in the Midlands, parts of Wales, and also in the North East. And I think that what's happening is the Tories believe that there's a high tide in their support. If it crests over, they could do even better. But if it falls short, it won't be as big as they're expecting. But internally, behind the scenes, I'm not hearing people saying, one, that Labor's going to win. Haven't heard anybody say that. And hardly anyone even predicting a hung parliament. Mind you, the polls got it wrong last time. Which I think has conditioned what people have been saying this time, because they're so nervous of getting it wrong again.
Well, looking at the exit poll in about an hour's time, we're also going to look very closely at Boris Johnson's seat. It might be a bit of reverse psychology, but Tory party insiders say that they are very nervous about Boris Johnson and him holding on to his own seat. Is that a real risk, do you think?
I have been sort of a little bit sceptical about that. It's absolutely true that the Lib Dems have poured in a huge amount of effort there. So has Momentum from the Labor Party, the sort of ginger group. how, I mean, this would be like devastating for the Tories to win an election and lose their leader. I mean,
Some inside the Tories might not think so, actually.
In fact, it's an odd situation where many of the people I talked to would probably think that was a great idea. Like he'd won the general election, but we've finally got rid of him. So, but I still sort of doubt it. But who knows?
Okay, well, we will read this exit poll just quickly. What seats to watch, what areas to watch as the results
So places like Barnsley, places like West Bromwich West and West Bromwich West, West Bromwich East, Barnsley, Doncaster, the Dom Valley. The fact that Labor has been pouring resources and people into those areas in seats that they've held since 1918 tells you something. And it means that there's a scare going on. And of course the Labor Party, after the election, has to sort itself out, and it can't continue with this kind of cult project that is alien to most mainstream Labor voters.
And that's a whole nother program in itself, I think, Mark Rand. A pleasure to see you and great to talk to you.
Good to see you again, Laura.
Pete, so not long now, we will have that exit poll in less than an hour. We'll see you soon.
All right, look forward to it, Laura. We will talk to you soon. Now stay tuned to Sky News all morning for more on the Brexit election. And be sure to join us from 9 o'clock Eastern when polls close and our rolling coverage of the results begins. So that's in just under 50 minutes from now. To some of the